For this week's divisional playoff round, Know Your Enemy, we're going to bring back NBC Sports Philly analyst Barrett Brooks, because even though the Giants and Eagles have played each other twice this season, do these teams really know each other? Barrett, welcome back, my man. I mean, the first time the Giants had everybody hurt. Second time they set everybody so they didn't get hurt. What's the vibes like down in Philly? You guys got Meek Mills at practice? Like, what's the vibes down there?
You know what? To tell you the truth, the vibe is here, getting back down to basics, doing what they do best, and that's going on playing fundamentally sound football. Man, you're right. It's been crazy. This season's been crazy, and look at how they're approaching this game. The first game, we were healthy. We turned back around. The next game, you guys, rested everybody. Now we're going into this situation. Now we're both healthy. Team, your team is rocking and rolling. They beat up on a Minnesota team that, like it or not, had a great record, had a great season. So, they see what they're facing. They understand that this team is a very viable team to go deep into the playoffs. So they got to make sure they cross their T's, dot their I's, and go on and play fundamental football they know, because this is the health that they've been since midseason.
Well, the RPO game is part of their fundamentals on offense. Jalen Hurts is back. He runs that RPO down to the T. So how do you see Jalen and the Eagles offense, or how do they hurt the Giants defense with the RPO game?
Well, that's it. We know Wink Martindale's one of those guys who loves the blitz. He loves to send pressure, whether 6-man or 5-man pressure. He's going to make sure that we have one or two more than the offense can block. And what that does for Jalen, it makes him read on his feet. See, one of the biggest characteristics that Jalen Hurts has is his ability to read defenses. Now, you saw the last game these guys played, even though it was against your 2 and 3s. He was able to pick the blitz up because he recognized and was fundamentally sound in knowing where the ball's supposed to go and how it's supposed to get there. Well, this time he's going to bring the running game to it. He didn't do that in the second game, because, like you said, they wanted to get out unscathed. They wanted to make sure he was getting the rust off of him. But what it does, it makes that defense be assignment correct. It makes sure that you're fundamentally sound in your gaps, and make sure you're fundamentally sound in your reads. You can't look past what he can do. So you got to make sure you defend all 11 players. When you play against, statues, quarterbacks that just sit back in the pocket, you're not really worried about them running. But with Jalen Hurts, you got to go out there and defend all 11 people. So when you do that, you got to make sure if you got the quarterback, you get the quarterback. You got the running back, you get the running back. And if you have, those receivers, with the passing portion of the RPO, you got to cover them. But you guys are healthy. You got Adoree Jackson back. Love is playing at a high level. I mean, you guys are looking pretty good, man.
All right. Well, the run game, sets up the pass game. Which Eagles wide receiver or even the tight end is due for a big game? You mentioned Adoree Jackson, those guys back. Like who or which Eagles tight end or receiver has to have a big game this week?
Well, the first time we played the Giants, we didn't have Dallas Goedert. And he was an integral part of the offense the entire year. And Dallas Goedert is a weapon roaming in the middle of that defense. And with the amount of blitzes that you guys have, that means you got Jalen Smith covering a guy like, Dallas Goedert. Because Grant Calcaterra played kind of well against you guys, I think he's going to be into the game plan. But I'll tell you what, Dallas Goedert will be a guy. Well, how do you cover him? How do you make, a guy like Jalen Smith cover a guy that's a much better athlete than he is, can run, can block, do a lot of things. So I think he's going to have a huge day, performing against this defense, because you send the blitz so much and then you have to cover. So I could see, him having a great game. But, when you have guys like Smith and Brown on the outside, those guys are 1,000-yard receivers and they can both play at a high level.
Yeah, Dallas Goedert is watching the Vikings tape and watching the games that T.J. Hawkinson had against this Giants defense, and he looks like he could be ready to eat as well. But let's Riverside it, because we're talking about this Giants offense. First couple times they played, the Giants offense was non-existent against this Eagles defense, but they've been pretty hot. So which unit on the Eagles defense has to have a big game to neutralize DJ in this Giants O?
Well, you know what? Kazir White, the will linebacker, he has to have not a good game, but a great game. Number one, he's going to have to cover, for the most part, Saquon Barkley out of the backfield. Is he athletic enough? I mean, he started out being a safety, got some size to him, can run. So he'll probably be the matchup. But, just like you said, Dable has found a way to harness what, DJ is. Daniel Jones is an athlete. He's been clocking over 21 miles an hour on the field. So it's not like he's a guy that you can just let him roam around. And he's definitely harnessed that ability. You see how they played against Minnesota and how he was able to go out there and really make them pay, especially towards the end of the game with using his feet, running out there and great plays out there. So, I mean, you got to cover both. You got to make sure that you account for him in the number count and account for Saquon. So I think Kazir White has to have a great game because they might spy Daniel Jones at times with Kazir White, but definitely trying to make sure that if they do go man-to-man, Kazir White is on him and he can have a great game against him.
Daniel Jones and Saquon are the obvious superstars on this Giants offense, but is there a sleeper on this Giants that could put up some real numbers if he's not held in check on Saturday night?
What's his name? Slayton. I mean, you're talking about Slayton and then Hodgkins. I mean, Hodgkins, he's come from out of nowhere. A big receiver, can run. He's showing that he can go out there and Debo smaller cornerbacks. He's somebody they have to count for. They didn't have to do it before. You thought it was going to be Kenny Golladay. He hasn't done much, but he did show some passion in this last game. But when you got, Hodgkins playing at the level he is and Slayton, Darius Slayton has been his guy, his go-to the entire season. I see him as a guy that, they have some fundamental connectiveness together. Those two play well together. They know each other very, very well. So Jones to Slayton is definitely a viable play where you can, open, stretch the field. But then Hoskins just stepped into his zone. And if you let him just get an inch of real estate over you, he's going to go out there and make the tough catch. This guy's playing for a contract. He's been a roamer. He's been, going from team to team, but this is a place he found here as a home. He could definitely be a viable weapon for that offense.
Yeah, Slayton and Hodgins, 83 catches, a little over 1,100 yards and 6 touchdowns on the year. But that's the back half where they really have gotten going, especially in the playoff. Barrett Brooks, it's our third and last time for the year.
Right.
Well, thanks for joining Know Your Enemy once again, my man, and good luck on Saturday.
Appreciate it. Good luck to you also, man. It'll be a great game on Saturday.